Hi, I'm Vanessa from Van and Travels. I'm going to give you a little background. Excuse my throat. I don't know why it's been a little scratchy this week. I'm in southern Indiana and the weather's changing drastically like it always does. But anyway, um, my name is Vanessa and I got the name. I shared it in another video from my mom. We're from Mississippi originally, and she put the emphasis on Van. She always said Van-nessa, especially when she's mad at me. Van-nessa. So that just always stuck in my mind because all the family and friends that know that if I did something kind of outrageous, which I do sometimes, they'd say Van-nessa. So I live in my van. I moved in it in April. I bought it in March, but I actually stayed in it out in my yard for 2 months before I took off on the road. I left on June 9th and took off for upper Michigan. And every plan I've made has not gone accordingly. I've changed all my plans, but that's the one good thing about van life. You can do whatever you want to do. And being 66 years old, I think you deserve that, especially after you've raised kids and helped raise grandchildren. So anyway, I live in southern Indiana. I lived in northern Indiana for about around 30, 35 years, I guess. I used to go up there, spend the summers from the time I was 18 years old, because my sister got married when I was, wait a minute, since I was 13 years old. And the day she got married in Mississippi, she moved to Indiana. So that's always been kind of more home to me than Mississippi was. So when I was old enough, I moved to northern Indiana, but the last 11 years I've lived in southern Indiana. Not that any of that matters, but sometimes I jump ahead of myself and people ask me, well, where do you live and all that. So I just wanted to clear all that up. Um, I got the idea from living in a van actually years ago. I didn't know anyone else did this, and not many people did back then. I had a 86 Dodge Ram conversion van, and I always loved to travel, and I'd take my kids, and I only had one grandbaby at that time, but I had another little stepson. He was more like my own child, and he went with me almost everywhere I went. So this is kind of funny. I've got to tell this because I think about it every time I get in my van and start packing up. I had my aunt and, let's see, two of my children and my grandbaby and Patrick, and we all went to the Smoky Mountains. And they wanted to go, oh, what do you, tubing down the. We ended up not going, but I went prepared. Before I left Mississippi, I bought some big tractor tubes, inner tubes, and I had them blown up before I went because I thought, well, when I get there, I don't know where to have them aired up at. So I bought this rope, and it being new rope, and me not knowing anything about preparing for camping at that time, except having plenty food and pipe. I bought this roll of rope, and I tied the tubes, and I had some gym bags. Pretty much everything except the food was tied onto the top of the van, and it was packed. And when we were coming home from the Smokies back to Indiana, we got to, I think we were in Lexington, Kentucky, and people were coming around me laughing and pointing and honking the horn. So I told my aunt we better pull off and see what's going on. I walked to the back of the van, and it was, oh my God, the inner tubes are just. You'd think I would have heard the tubes banging against the van, but when you have a van full of kids, you can't distinguish which one is them and which one is actually an emergency. So the inner tubes, the gym bags, there was nothing left on top of the van. It was just all hanging down. So I got up there. The rope had stretched. I had it tied tight, but that's a wonder it hadn't been dragging the ground. But anyway, we got it all tightened up, and my aunt wasn't any help. She's on the side of the road, just doubled over laughing. So we made it from there to Indianapolis. Same thing happened again. And that was just the funniest trip. But anyway, I used to sit out in that van, and especially when we'd go on a trip, and I would think, well, you could actually live in this van if you wanted to. And I wanted to because I like those survival stories and living close to the edge. That's the kind of person I've always been. But I didn't have anybody to do it with me, and I don't know why I thought I had to have anyone. But I just always thought that was a good way of life. So on June 9th, I headed up to northern Michigan because it was stinking hot here already and humid, so bad humid. And I spent some time in Mackinac City, and then I went on up in the UP of Michigan, and from there I went to Canada. I went up in northern Ontario, some of the most beautiful country I've ever seen in my life. And then the end of June, I think I took off out west. And again, I changed my direction. I was going to go the northern way and go through Montana and North Dakota, all through there. Anyway, I got to Colorado Springs, and I camped at the top of Pike State Park. And it was just not Pike State Park, Pike's National Forest. And it was just, oh, it was just beautiful. All free camping up there. And it was facing Pikes Peak. There were mountains surrounding me. They'd had a forest fire, which was very sad. Most of the trees were burned, but it was a gorgeous view. Um, the humidity was low. It was really cold at night, but I didn't care because I was escaping the heat from home. And from there, I went down the Santa Fe Trail into New Mexico and on to Arizona. And when I got to Flagstaff, I met up with a good friend of mine now, Letty from Living Life with Letty. And you should go watch her videos. She's an amazing lady. And we're going to hook up again here in a couple weeks. And anyway, we stayed out there. Well, she had been there, let's say, about a month before me, I think. And I was there for 6 weeks and just met some wonderful people. And I'm going to meet up with them too. And life's just good. I love living in the van. I'm going to do a tour for you next. I just wanted to get this out of the way and just give you a little background of what I'm doing, where I'm from, and the direction I'm going in. Not the definite direction, but the approximate goal I have. But I'm going to be filming my trip from here to out there, and I'm going to meet up with the people from the van build, Enigmatic Nomadic. Jamie has a van build out there in Parker, I believe Parker, Arizona. And I'll be there for 2 weeks. I know that. After that, I don't know where I'll be. But I'm going to be filming that and hopefully get to do some van tours of other people doing the same thing. So the next video, I'm going to give you a tour of my van. Thanks for watching. I hope I covered everything. Bye-bye.